Welcome to another edition of It's Still Real to Me, Zaslow Show 2.0. Everything Zaslow Show 2.0, including It's Still Real to Me, is presented by Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys, our title sponsor. If you're involved in an accident, if you're dealing with an injury, 800-747-FREE. That's 800-747-3733. You call 911 first, and then you get a lawyer on the phone immediately. Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys, 800-747-3733. My pal is Joey Levine here. Joey, good early evening. We are taping this here. It is Sunday for folks who have been waiting for the reaction show to a fantastic Elimination Chamber last night. I was in Atlanta for 24 hours over the weekend. I watched the main event. So I didn't get to watch the show live, Joey. I watched the main event last night in Atlanta when I got back from what I was doing. I watched that, and then I watched the rest of the show this morning. Overall, man, look, it's really rare. Even when Vince is still running the show the last couple years and you know, fans love to complain, it was pretty rare WWE doesn't put together a solid pay-per-view, no matter what you think of the weekly programming. So the premium live events are always solid. Last night I thought was a fantastic show, man.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the credit for that being a fantastic show goes to Montreal. We talked about it for probably 2 months now, almost leading up, about how the crowd was going to be, and from the second the show started, they were incredible, and that adds so much.
Pro wrestling is made for a live crowd, man.
Yeah, but it's just like some of the stuff was great, incredible. Some of it was fine, but the crowd was hot the whole night. Like there were just moments where you could barely hear Cole. Like, it's just like that, I would say, adds to a lot of the reason why the show ends up being a great show as opposed to just a good show. And then, of course, the main event. But yeah, that city and that crowd deserves a lot of credit for how good that show ended up being, I think.
Let's start out with the main event, and then
Sure.
we'll get to, we got to start out with the main event instead of working our way to it, and then we'll go through the rest of the card. I do want to say real quick, or I want to ask you real quick, we're not going to do our regular review of the weekly shows and the big stories and whatnot, but after watching SmackDown on Friday night, SmackDown's in Montreal, Sami Zayn's got his old music back. Right move. Very good move. Sami Zayn's got his old music back there. The crowd is just going ape shit for him on Friday night. He cuts a great promo. Roman, it's not just you versus me. It's you versus me and the entire city of Montreal. Was there any moment, did the promo change your mind as to what the outcome could have possibly been Saturday night?
No, if anything, it made me more definitive that he was losing.
Me too.
Me
too.
But when I saw them advertising that he was going to be on SmackDown, I was like, this is weird. Like, are they ruining his pop by having him come out the night before the show?
I hear
you. And then I was like, and then when he came out, I'm like, oh, okay. It's not even just that he's going to lose. He is Montreal. He has to talk. Like, they need to hear his voice. And now, win or lose, that wasn't going to happen on Saturday night.
Yeah.
So you have to have him come out and say something. Now, what I thought was going to happen was because the crowd, because he stood there for so long, I thought it was going to be like 2 words. I thought it was going to be like, tomorrow night we do it. And he just drops the mic and walk. I thought he was just going to it
was something really short and sweet what he did.
It was. Well, he actually,
was it 2 minutes that he did?
In the post event press conference, he sort of addressed that.
Oh, what did he say?
One of the reporters asked him, did you have more to say? And he's like, yeah, there was more things that I think I would had planned to say, and maybe some more about Roman and this and that, but I'm not going to stop the crowd, and that's the reason we're there.
Great moment, man.
He's like, you have to adjust, basically what you said. You have to adjust. And I just did what, needed to be done, short and sweet, because the crowd said it all, basically.
I'm with you, though. If anything, it's solidified for me. He's not winning tomorrow, because
got to give that crowd their moment. And that was, him coming out on Saturday night was a moment also, but you had to give them their moment with their guy.
It wasn't even that for me that, all right, that was the moment. And yeah, I guess it was. But for me, it was, yeah, it feels like it feels like now instead of the objective being tomorrow night, Saturday night, being Sammy walking out of there with the titles and having an all-time moment, because it would have been, but it felt to me like, all right, the objective now after that promo and the crowd so behind him, and if you're watching from home, you are loving it also. To me, the objective totally became, yeah, the idea is for everyone to hate Roman's guts at the end of Saturday night. And I think it was accomplished because I just watched the main event again right before we started taping this. And I'm like, man, I think they did it because I really think we've gotten to a place where, yes, Roman's been a heel for the last 1,000 days almost, but for the most part, he's been a popular heel. I mean, we're all throwing up the ones and whatnots. And I see him at the end of that match there, and I'm disgusted with him. You know, I think it all worked. I think it worked.
But again, that's a credit to Montreal. Like, I think everyone has to. So I think I mentioned this a couple times in the lead up, right? This moment, this night was going to be the peak of Sami Zayn's career.
Yeah.
Like
whether he wins the title, I mean, look, winning it would have been one thing, but whether he wins it or not, it's still.
And because of that, I think we also have to take everything that happened Saturday night and Friday night with a little bit of a grain of salt, because it's like you could have there's nothing you could have done to make them like Roman. Like that crowd, no matter what, whether Sammy came out Friday, whether he didn't come out, whether he won, they were going to hate Roman because he was going up against Sammy, because Sammy is born, raised, he's the Montreal guy, he was their guy. And I think a lot of the reaction, I think people who watch that match may even more so now, some people who don't totally understand that was the impact of that crowd are probably saying like, oh, maybe they really do need to rethink WrestleMania. No, Saturday was the peak. Like that was it. Even if he won, Saturday was the peak. Like it's never going to get better than it was Saturday night in the Sami Zayn storyline. It's a credit to the bloodline. It's a credit to everything. Sami Zayn's incredible, but all of the buildup, all the storytelling with the bloodline, and it all culminating in Montreal in terms of his interaction with Roman. It's not over, but I think his interaction with Roman is probably over.
His interaction with Roman is over. We're totally moving on now. And the next phase of this story is, all right, we got to figure out a way for Sammy and KO to squash the beef. That's what's next. Because
I don't know. Like, so I thought the ending was, so let's talk about the match, because I thought the ending was a little weird in terms of it was a little ambiguous as to where we go next. I think coming out of last night, the only thing we know is Roman's fighting Cody. And then everything else is sort of up in the air because of the way it ended. It was they left a lot of things up in the air.
Jay hates, let's start with Jay. Jay hates Roman so much. Like that's what you took out of that, right?
I don't know. See,
the look he gave when he was standing there, the way he was looking at him. I'm not going to allow you to do this to Sammy. And then the look of disgust. He hates Roman. And then Roman did you think he was going to hit Roman with the chair?
No way. But then I thought he was going to hit Sammy with the chair. I thought this whole time, we were leading up to Jay reluctantly,
yeah, I thought so too,
sticking with his family, attacking Sammy, and then KO makes
not going there. At least not yet. They're not going
there. Not yet.
But then the face mushing from Roman, and that's where it was mission accomplished, because I'm disgusted with Roman. I am, and I've loved him for so long, even though he's been a heel. I loved him when he was a babyface, by the way. I've been in on Roman for a long time, but obviously I've especially loved him the last couple of years, and I'm disgusted with him. And he's doing the face mushing to Jay, and here's what I hope. I really hope. I hope they don't treat us like we're idiots, because I hate that old trope where, okay, Roman moved out of the way, Sammy speared Jay,
and now Jay hates Sammy.
He better not be mad at Sammy. You have to be brain dead to think that Sammy did it on purpose. Why'd you spear me? And now he hates him. I hope that's not. They can't go in that direction, right? That's so.
That was my immediate reaction.
Well, it was my immediate reaction too, and then it's like, please, we're not dumb enough to buy that. Please, you can't be going in that direction, right? It's so dumb. Sammy acknowledged him 2 weeks ago.
Right.
How could he come out of it saying that Sammy did it on purpose?
Here's why the ending was weird to me was Sammy speared Jay. Roman beats Sammy. Jimmy comes in and starts beating the shit out of Sammy. Did the spear kill Jay? Was he dead? He never showed up again. He was just gone. Right. And I know it was because the moment was for KO, for the Montreal crowd to get the KO pop, but like, what happened to Jimmy? Like, guys are getting
spear.
Guys are getting killed with chairs and attacked and this and that, and Jay just he's gone.
It was gonna take out Roman. It was gonna be 1, 2, 3. It was a great spear.
It's got to be the best spear in the history of wrestling at this point. I mean, it literally killed a man because we didn't see him again.
Why wasn't Solo there? Was he just listening to his tribal chief? Or it's like I told you guys.
No, but they didn't tell Solo not to be there.
Yeah,
they only told the Usos, and I thought so.
And that was a swerve. I mean, Jimmy, I thought he wasn't allowed in the country.
I tell you, that was brilliant. I don't know if like WWE leaked stuff out to all these wrestling reporters, like, put out stuff about Jimmy and his DUI and this and that, because everyone was sold on it.
What if Jimmy's being held at the border right now? Like, they're not letting him back. He's in trouble.
I don't know. Well, it's a good thing Raw's in Canada on Monday, I guess. But yeah, that was when I saw Jimmy show up, I was like, whoa, yeah. He's not supposed, not just storyline, not supposed to be there. Legally, he's not supposed to be there.
Real law.
Yeah, he snuck over the border just to help the tribal chief.
He was in someone's trunk.
That shows. Look, Solo wasn't there. We don't know what's up with Jimmy, or we don't know what's up with Jay. Jimmy snuck over the border, so we know who the most loyal
badasses.
It's Jimmy. Jimmy is the most loyal right now.
That's a badass oos right there.
Yeah. That was a swerve. I expected Jay to show up. I didn't expect Jimmy. I expected Jay to show up.
Of course. But it was so cool, though, the way Jay showed up, too. It was almost like the lights go out and Bray Wyatt was standing there. Like, all of a sudden, Jay is just standing in the middle of the ring. Yeah. It was so cool how they pulled it off. It was really good.
Now, to your point about him hating Roman, I get it. And I see what you're saying with the facial expression. But there's also part of me that's his somewhat limited acting, conflicted face. Like, because if he hated Roman, he could have just hit him with the chair when he turned his back.
It reminded me, though, remember in the beginning of the Bloodline story 2.5 years ago, finally, when Jay finally acknowledged the tribal chief, and it was Jay telling him and crying, I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. Like, that's what it reminded me of. And then he finally acknowledged him, like that's what it reminded me of.
Yeah. I don't know. Again, here we are, another week down and another week of us kind of being like, we don't know.
That's also why it's great that Sammy didn't win last night, because the story goes on, man. Like, it goes on. If Sammy won, it's over then. The Bloodline's probably done because they don't have the titles anymore. Who knows what the fallout there was with Jay? Maybe Jay turned on Roman. I don't know. And Sammy's the champion. Instead, we keep the train rolling, man. Like, the story is still out there.
I hope we get like an answer about why Solo wasn't there.
I'm sure we will. When's the last time in this story they didn't answer questions that they put out there? There has to be.
But also from what the internet tells me, Solo posted a picture at the airport in Montreal. So I don't know. Could this happen? Could we see, and I know you don't think so because I've brought this up before, could we see Sammy and Jay versus Solo and Jimmy for the tag titles?
Yeah, that'd be cool. But the only thing is, what do you do with Kevin Owens then? Like, that's the whole point, right? Kevin Owens can't not be at WrestleMania, and he has to be involved in this storyline at WrestleMania. Because I'm watching last night, it didn't feel to me like KO and Roman Reigns were done. Like, I don't know if they're going to do anything more with that, but I'm watching. Didn't feel like they were done to me.
Yeah,
this was KO returning for the first time since Roman beat the shit out of him. And the very first thing he did there was tackles Roman, gives him a stunner. Doesn't feel like we're done, Yeah. Even though the lasting image was like KO wasn't about to run into Sammy's arms and they're boys again. Like, they were just kind of staring at each other and KO left. So that's why I think the next phase here coming up this week is, are we going to squash the beef? That's got to be the next move. Is the friendship irreconcilable? I think that's where we're going now.
Yeah. Okay. But then I guess the question again still remains, like, what are we doing with Jay for Mania?
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, I think we're headed toward KO and Sammy versus the Usos. I think we are. Maybe Jay is going to come to his senses and still acknowledge his tribal chief. But I'm telling you, man, we got to get to a place where they can't just leave it hanging out there. And I don't think they will, because they've been so good about this kind of stuff. And I really think Paul Heyman is probably really influential with this type of stuff. They haven't just left red herrings out there and not come back to close that door. When Sammy tells Jay, I acknowledge you, they better come back to that. That couldn't just have been a throwaway line a couple of weeks ago. I don't know what they're going to do with it, but they better come back to that.
I think that will be some way of them setting up Jay and Roman at SummerSlam. I think that's going to be there's something more there. I feel like that's down the line, or
I mean, wouldn't that be
Money in the Bank or whatever? Because here's the other thing that people I think are not really thinking about is Cody could win at Mania, and it'd probably be fine. But also,
I think he could lose at Mania.
Yeah, but also, like, Roman is not that far away from holding the title for 1,000 days.
I think Cody could lose.
And then right around Money in the Bank would be 1,000 days for him. Like, that could be an interesting storyline too. Like,
well, I hope it doesn't end with him getting cashed in on. Like, that's
no. But I'm saying, like, no, I'm just saying that would be the next show that he would fight at.
Okay,
that would be the next pay-per-view or premium live event that he could defend at. I think, right? Money in the Bank is right after WrestleMania, right? So,
and they're doing that in London, right?
Yes, at the O2. So that's just something I've been thinking about, because I think a lot of people are assuming Cody wins, but I don't know that that's.
I think everyone's assuming Cody wins. I don't think that's necessarily the case, because isn't the way the Bloodline storyline ends, like, it started with Roman versus Jay. Shouldn't it kind of end with Roman versus Jay?
Yeah, if it's going to end, then yes. I think so. Yeah.
I hope that's where we get. I hope that's where we're going. Eventually.
Yeah. I mean, this week will be very interesting.
We got 6 weeks now. We got 6 weeks.
Well, 6 weeks to figure out what we're doing with Sammy, KO, and the Usos.
Is there any way that they're changing? Look, everyone loves going back to WrestleMania 30, right? Is there any way that they're changing over the next 6 weeks the direction of that main event?
No. I think last night ended it. I mean, in terms of Sammy, I think that's.
But I don't think he's a foregone conclusion to walk away with the titles at WrestleMania. I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, I don't think they're going to change the main event. The Usos have to do something at WrestleMania. They have both titles. They have to fight.
6 weeks is a long time. You know, 6 to swerve here or to turn this guy here, or 6 weeks is a long time.
You could do KO solo.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
You could do KO solo. They've had some interactions. Solo did the dive off of the one announce table onto the other announce table onto KO, and they've had some face-to-face.
I feel like we never got the conclusion, though, to Solo and Drew McIntyre. Like, we never got closure on that.
I'm okay. I mean, we could
the ship is sailed. The ship is sailed. I mean,
you could bring it back. You could always bring it back, but I think right now, I don't need it right now, because there's so much good stuff you could do with basically there's 6 guys. Is it 6 guys? No, 5 guys in this story that we need to figure out over the next 6 weeks what's happening with them, right?
That crowd.
Is my math right here?
No, you're right. It's
5.
It's the 4 of them, the 3 brothers, Roman, and then you got Paul, right?
No, I'm saying KO, Sammy, the Usos.
Oh, so 6 guys.
Solo.
6.
And Solo.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we know what Roman's doing. So 5 guys.
Okay.
So 5 guys. It's gonna be good.
That crowd was shook. Like, they wanted it so bad. They were like dead silent when Roman won.
I know they wanted it so bad.
Shook, man.
But man, they're such good wrestling fans. They had to, in the back of their mind, they had to have an idea.
Here's what it is. Okay, here's what I would equate it to. I'll use a sports analogy. It's like when the NCAA tournament comes around next month, right? And it's like in March Madness where we're all rooting for those underdogs the first couple rounds. We all want the upsets. We want the madness. Well, if there's too much madness, then your final four ends up being a couple 8 seeds, a 12 seed, and a 10 seed. And it's like, well, this kind of sucks. Like, I want the big dogs I want the blue bloods in the final four. And if Sammy wins last night, it's like, it's cool that the underdog got to this point. But if the underdog is headlining WrestleMania, it kind of sucks. Like,
I got to be honest, I was thinking
there.
Yeah, I was thinking about that today. Of like the guys that I could genuinely see main eventing WrestleMania, and Sammy wasn't on my list.
Yeah.
He just wasn't. And I know that may not be a popular opinion right now, but I think people will get it soon. Like, I think the conclusion was
now,
good.
Man. I think people get it now. I do. I don't think we're headed toward a Daniel Bryan situation and everyone's turning on Cody. I do not think we're there. And you know what else? That promo at the beginning of the week with Cody and Sammy, and Cody telling Sammy, like, wow, that came out of nowhere, where it's like they put those two in the ring. I thought that did wonders for Cody, because all of a sudden it became, hey, if Cody Rhodes is fighting Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, that's not Cody's fault. Cody told Sammy Monday night, go finish your story.
Right.
I'll see you at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
So if Sammy doesn't beat Roman in Elimination Chamber and it's Cody versus Roman, that ain't Sammy's fault. I mean, that ain't Cody's fault. He told you there he wants to fight Sammy, and Sammy didn't hold up his end of the bargain. I thought it was a great shift, like a really good move that they pulled on the crowd there. I don't think anyone's turning on Cody. I don't think so.
No. The crowd loves Cody.
Yeah.
The crowd, and the stuff he did with Heyman. I mean, the crowd loves Cody, and they're going to continue to play up him and Dusty and the relationship between Dusty and Roman. And it's just going to get more and more personal, because Cody, for one thing, Cody that's what he'll do. Like, he doesn't care taking it to the most personal depths of like his story and his personal life. So they're going to continue to play that up, and it's going to be great.
Such a great line that a couple weeks ago with Heyman. All I want to do is win a championship, and everyone wants to make it personal.
Yeah,
it's a great line.
By the way, the match itself was incredible. Yeah. I think last night it gets overshadowed by like the story and the ending, but the actual match was crazy.
I'll tell you what's maybe my favorite part of the match. I loved his wife being right there, man. And all the interaction with the
cut
camera.
to her a couple, maybe like one too many cuts, but it was cool.
I liked it. She did a great job selling it. And it's one of those deals where, and I love asking the superstars when they're on Zaslow Show 2.0. And I always tell them, ask them, when you're fighting in a championship match, and you're going to win, you're going to go over in this match, you're going to win the championship. Do you tell your family? Do you tell them, hey, make sure you're watching? I always love asking that. Because I'm watching her, and like I wondered, did she have any idea what the outcome of the match was going to be? Because I thought she was super compelling. I thought it was great when the camera was on her.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe not, because I think a lot. There are times where they don't know till the night of, right? I feel like
definitely
he may not have known until like 30 minutes before they went out. Right? They may not have told him. So she probably didn't know.
I mean, I remember WrestleMania 37 in Tampa, which I was at, when Bianca Belair won the championship. Her father in the front row almost jumped over the barricade. He was freaking out. Like, he clearly did not know.
Right.
I love when they don't tell the family members.
Yeah. And I'm going to give credit to someone else for making that moment in that match great. And I know I do it every time. Michael Cole. I mean, it doesn't get better than Cole. It doesn't get better than Cole. And just the beginning, setting the scene, setting the table, the way he was talking about Sammy and all that. And I know, I go for some reason, my immediate thought when he was like setting the table, all I could think was like, what if this was Excalibur, Tony Schiavone, and Taz? And it'd be like Excalibur. It would be like Taz, what's it like going up against someone like Roman? And Taz is like, well, let me tell you, I'm going to tell you the truth. I've gone up against guys like this, and it's really hard to go up against a guy like this. It's really hard. And it's really hard. I mean, Roman is a really good competitor. I've done it. I've done it. And then Excalibur's like, don't forget, next week on Dynamite, we got this, we got that, we got this. And then that's what that moment would have been. I don't know. That was what was going through my mind.
It was great, man. Are we gonna see the bloodline tomorrow night on Raw? I don't think we will, right?
That's a good question. No, I mean, I bet we'll get a Cody, maybe Cody and
when
Heyman.
are we going to get Roman and Cody in the ring together?
Soon. Well, probably not this week, because I think this week will probably be focused on
it's got to be
on Sammy and Jay and that stuff. But I mean, it got to be in the next couple weeks.
So when are we going to get it? And is it going to be Roman coming to Raw or Cody coming to SmackDown?
That's a good question, because Roman goes to both shows.
I think it's more interesting if Cody comes to SmackDown.
Yeah.
Because you won't be expecting it. I think we're expecting Roman to show up. Yeah, Cody's never been on SmackDown.
Well, now, and if this is any indicator, I don't know if it is, they've already announced that Rhea is going to be on SmackDown this week.
Okay, so they're getting that started. Yeah.
Yeah, that her and Charlotte are going to be face-to-face this week.
Okay.
For the first time.
Okay.
So I don't know if that doesn't really mean anything.
USA would be really pissed if they're getting Rhea moving over there and Cody moving over there.
Yeah, but it's Fox. I mean, it's the Fox deal, you know. But we'll see.
You want to get to the other matches here?
Yeah, let's talk about the other matches.
All right. So the women's Elimination Chamber match, I think, went the way that we all saw it.
Did you think it was short? I thought it was a little.
You know what? Short? I don't know that I think it was short, but I think it wasn't as violent as an Elimination Chamber match usually is. Okay. Is what I thought. I mean, I know Raquel, threw Nikki through the cage. Liv had an incredible spot off the top of the cage. That was awesome,
and she had incredible ring gear.
We all thought Asuka was going to win, and it's the right call. That's a ton of star power, and I love this Asuka so much because I was so over the Asuka, the dancing in the ring. You know,
I didn't mind it.
I didn't like it.
I love Asuka.
You're such a badass, and you're dancing, and you got to get back to being NXT Asuka. And this is what NXT Asuka was. I mean, not this face paint, but I love it.
I had kind of hoped that she would be a little more dominant. I was hoping
she got 3 pins.
I know, but
submissions.
I thought she was going to come in and just destroy everyone.
Baszler?
Just destroy everyone and become truly this psycho clown character. Truly really get into that. I thought.
I think they may have to go in that direction over the next 6 weeks because the crowd loves Asuka, and they got to find a way to make it that everyone still loves Bianca. So they may have to go in that type of direction, you know?
Yeah. No, I guess, I don't know how they do that unless she just starts attacking her week after week or something. I don't know, but yeah.
I love how they eliminated Raquel. I thought it was totally the right move. They beat the shit out of her, and she comes out looking so strong, even though she lost. I love how they
that's a smart move. I mean, I think that's what
they pulled the exact same move with Bronson Reed. It was the exact same spot.
Bronson Reed's awesome. By the way, and also Nikki Cross is awesome. She had an awesome spot, the dive off of the top of the pod. She's the last 2 nights. I mean, the SmackDown, her thing on SmackDown which was a weird thing they did this year, where anytime 2 women from the chamber were fighting, all of them just stood around the ring. They did it again on SmackDown for Asuka's match.
Oh, yeah.
They're all just there for some reason.
Yeah.
But I like that Nikki Cross was just sitting on the announce table and kissing Michael Cole and sitting in Wade Barrett's lap.
And telling Michael Cole, you're my friend.
Yeah. You're my best friend. Will you be my best friend? And slobbering on him. Nikki Cross is, I don't care what she does. I just keep her on TV every week because she's hilarious.
Yo, what, so we're getting Asuka and Bianca Belair. I think everyone likes that. What the hell happened with Lesnar and Lashley? The match was cool. It was your typical Brock Lesnar match, but that was the ending we got, because going into it, I thought we were getting Bray Wyatt versus the winner of that for WrestleMania. So what are we doing now?
Well, that's the question, because the ending leads you to believe it's Brock and Bobby at WrestleMania, but the night before Bray, which I also thought was weird. I mean, I know some people were excited that Bray did that, but why? Why is Bray Wyatt all of a sudden he's just like, I want the winner of this match that means nothing to anybody other than the two guys in the match. I want the winner.
Yeah, I don't know why, but it did get me excited for the possibility of, all right, I would love Bray Wyatt and Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Like, that's cool.
I want Brock in something bigger. I actually was more excited for Bray versus Bobby and the Hurt Business. That, I think we could have some fun stuff in the lead up. And that could be the way that Bobby officially is back with the Hurt Business, because Bobby can't handle Bray and Uncle Howdy. He needs help. He needs MVP.
Yeah, so what the hell are we doing now? Is a DQ?
So now is it Bray just torture? Are Bobby and Bray or Bobby and Brock gonna team up against Bray?
Yeah, but Bobby technically won the match, so
they can be the Mega Powers.
Yeah, but he technically won the match, Bobby. So is it Bray versus Bobby now? WrestleMania? I mean, he won. Say to whoever.
Yeah, that's the whole thing was weird. But and I also read that Brock's like he's just keeps going off script. Basically, like apparently, like the second F5 to the ref was not.
Oh, there's no way that was planned.
That was not planned, and he just did it.
Yeah, there's no way.
I think
they started his music early.
Yeah, it was all very strange. It's a weird ending. Mm-hmm. Now I will say, in the lead up, Bobby, his whole thing was, we've met 3 times. The first time I beat you. The second time you beat me and I left you laying, and the third time I eliminated you. So like maybe this is the ending, because like Bobby just keeps talking about, like his whole thing was he keeps talking about how every time they meet, Bobby ends up getting the upper hand, whether he wins or loses. And this time Brock loses, but he ends up beating the shit out of him. So maybe that's how they were ending it. I don't know.
So what does Brock do for WrestleMania?
Or maybe they bring back the fight pit. I don't know. Or a Raw Underground fight pit.
Dabakato?
No, well, yeah, but Shane McMahon comes back and he's like, I got an idea, guys.
Is Omos going to be the doorman again?
I don't know. I actually considered the idea that WWE has a sanctioned, like real life MMA fight between Bobby and Brock.
Yeah, that'll go down.
I mean, they are both professional MMA fighters. One was the UFC champion, one fought in Bellator, and I don't really remember how he was, but they are real life MMA fighters. They were at one point in their lives. So I've actually considered the idea that could happen, but that would ruin Brock Lesnar if Bobby just knocked him out. Can you imagine?
What is Brock going to do at WrestleMania, man?
What's Bray going to do? Like Bray now has to explain his reasoning for again, why does he care about Brock and Bobby? I'd like to know. Like, what's the reasoning? Why those two guys of all the people he could have challenged now?
Well, and you know what I'm thinking? Are they ever gonna tell us why did Uncle Howdy attack Bray Wyatt?
I literally asked,
and now they're boys again.
I asked someone that yesterday, and their answer was, "Oh, he said it in the promo. He said I got control of my family." What? So that's the answer?
I tell you, how I feel about all the Bray Wyatt stuff. It always fizzles out.
Well, always. The problem again, this had a chance. This had a chance. This current Bray stuff had a chance. The lead up with him and LA Knight was so long.
Yeah, it took too long. You're right.
And the blow off was so horrible. You know what? I know what it is. Uncle Howdy got demoted because he botched his spot.
Such a bad spot.
He botched it so bad that he got demoted back down, and Bray is back in charge of the family now.
So bad. So bad.
I don't know, but the ending was a little. I mean, look, if Bray had not done what he did this week, then I actually think the ending of this match was fine. Brock,
right? This was so confusing. Like, you set up Bray to face the winner at WrestleMania, and this ends with a DQ, and I don't know what the hell's happening now.
But I had no problem with Brock cheating to win and then just beating the shit out of everybody, doing what Brock does. I actually enjoyed the match. I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
But yes, it doesn't make sense because of the Bray stuff. I don't know. It's a great question. Bobby he's full heel now. So maybe regardless of him getting the shit kicked out of him, he comes out on Monday and he says, I beat Brock Lesnar, Bray Wyatt. Come on.
That would be the move. Like, he needs to brag about beating Brock
exactly.
Lesnar.
And I think he will, because that's his thing.
Because that's chicken shit stuff.
Well,
disqualification.
because he'll just say, every time I go up against Brock Lesnar, I come out on top. Yeah, every time. And I came out on top again. And then it sets up him and Bray, and then Brock's gone for a while, and we forget about it. And then Brock comes back to set up whatever he's going to do at Mania, which we still don't have any idea. But it needs to be something. Honestly, it needs to be something bigger than Bray. I know people consider Bray a big deal, but Brock's just on a different level. Like, I just think he needs something huge always at Mania.